Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. Today is a little different because I'm not actually going to be talking about any Animal Jam related topics, which I know it's weird because this is an Animal Jam channel or whatever, but since school is rolling back around and I'm on track to graduate this year, I thought it would be beneficial to share some helpful school tips to get you guys through this year. I think the most important school tip is actually most useful before school actually starts because it has to do with school supplies. Low-key, school supplies are really expensive and it all adds up really quick, so cutting corners isn't a terrible idea. Some schools just print out and share a generic back to school list with supplies you won't even need. This is usually stuff like glue, protractors, scissors, etc. Teachers will usually actually have this stuff left over from previous years, or they'll get a class set from donations. I've had a lot of different teachers literally admit that, oh yeah, you're never gonna use some of this stuff on the list because the school just never updates their supply lists. I mean, I have dozens of random unused rulers, protractors, and glue sticks all over my room. Another thing is graphing calculators. I'm literally in my senior year and I've made it all the way through 12 years of school without ever buying my own graphing calculator. Honestly, most teachers have their own class set that you can borrow from, especially high school teachers, because some state standardized tests actually require a graphing calculator, or at least in Ohio they do. I have no shame in using a class set calculator because honestly, even though they were ancient, it was what my teacher would use to show us how to use different equations on the graphing calculator, so all the buttons were identical and it honestly made learning how to use a graphing calculator so much easier, and it saved me $100. If your school doesn't have a class set of graphing calculators, Desmos is also a super great alternative, and I know some teachers actually encourage students to use Desmos instead of a graphing calculator, and you can access it in any device just from your browser. Honestly, a big part of school for me, and I think for everybody, has always been the social aspect, but being in school for so long, I've come to realize that popularity literally isn't real. There's not gonna be one specific person or group who rules the school or whatever. You're not gonna have some Regina George type crap where everybody bows down to whoever is most popular, especially if you go to a big school. My graduating class is pretty small, but honestly, if you know a lot of people, that's the closest thing to popularity. And if you want to get to know lots of people, join different clubs and organizations, especially if you want to run for some leadership position or homecoming court or prom royalty. I know it's cliche, but joining different groups actually does help you make a lot of friends. You honestly don't even have to religiously commit to a club or a sport or whatever. If you see a poster or an announcement for a club meeting and it seems interesting, you can drop by without being expected to show up to the next meeting or whatever. Just drop by whatever after school things seem interesting and just linger for as long as you want. It's good to have different friends in different places because it helps build social skills. Honestly, friend groups never really end well, and they kind of cause you to have social dependence on the same handful of people. I found that having solo friends instead of a friend group has actually let me branch out and meet a lot of different people with different personalities and interests. With friend groups, you're usually sticking around people who are pretty similar to you, and they have the same humor and jokes and experiences, but with solo friends, it's completely fresh for each person. I honestly have more to talk about too, because when I had a friend group, we were all experiencing the same things together at the same time, and there wasn't much to talk about afterwards. Also, stick with the kids who actually care about you and actually want to be your friend. If you spend your time chasing kids who don't really have any interest in being your friend, you're gonna miss out on all these awesome kids who actually do want to be your friend. So branch out, but don't put all your eggs in one basket. Also, having a friend group isn't a terrible thing because it does give you a solid group of friends to fall back on when socializing gets hard. But if you're able to branch out, I would definitely do it. Also, if you want to be likable, don't vape. Literally everybody hates vapors. At my school, bathroom vaping was so bad that they literally locked all of the bathroom doors. So here I am, old enough to drive a car, but I have to ask an adult to go to the bathroom and unlock the door for me so I can pee. Nobody was happy about this bathroom arrangement, and if kids knew that you vaped, you pretty much got dogged on 24/7. So don't vape if you don't want to get dogged on, and it's also bad for your health and stuff. If you want to stay in the know, it's a good idea to follow any school social media accounts. Different clubs and organizations will usually have their own social media accounts, but school districts will usually have their own general social media accounts as well. A lot of kids will repost important stuff, like on their Snapchat or Instagram stories, but honestly, sometimes it's best to just get it straight from the source. If you're too young to have social media, ask your parents to follow your school's profiles, and honestly, they probably already are, just so they can keep you in the loop. This helps you find upcoming sports-like events, performing arts events, club meetings, spirit weeks, assemblies, pep rallies, fundraisers, and a whole lot of other stuff. Upperclassmen are also always open to help you. I'm an upperclassman, and I always look forward to helping younger students. Most upperclassmen are pretty understanding because they're once in your shoes too. So if you get lost or need help finding something, there's always going to be someone willing to help you. Also, if you happen to befriend an upperclassman, don't be afraid to ask them for help with your classwork, because chances are they've taken the same class or have had the same teacher. Personally, I found upperclassmen to be more helpful than tutors or a guidance counselor, and honestly, you might even make a new friend. If you happen to have a teacher you're particularly fond of, it's also not a bad idea to ask them for help. Even if they don't teach the subject you're asking for help in, they still have to go to high school, so chances are they may be able to help. I've had art teachers help me with math homework, history teachers review my English essays, and a lot of other things, so it's not a bad idea to ask your favorite teacher for some extra help. School fights are pretty common, honestly, and you're bound to run into one. And when you do, there are 3 things to keep in mind. Don't record, don't cheer, and don't intervene. Recording will usually get you called down to guidance or the principal's office or something, because you technically have evidence or whatever. I don't really know. I just know that all the kids who record fights get called in for questioning, and nobody wants that. Also, if you cheer or shout or anything, some picky teachers will write you up for encouraging violence or something dumb like that, so don't egg people on either. And I think it's pretty obvious that you should never intervene, because it's not worth it to get beat up and written up for fighting somebody else's battle. If 2 kids are fighting and you jump in to stop it, teachers will just think you're part of the problem and write you up too. The last tip isn't necessary to survive school or anything, but it will enrich your experience in school. Go to any pep rallies, football games, musicals, dances, whatever. I know they seem dumb and petty, but once your senior year rolls around, you're gonna wish you participated a lot more. I get it, school's dances are dramatic and everybody is kind of loud and acting inappropriately, but I think deep down, everybody kind of looks forward to school dances. You don't have to go to every event. I mean, if you really don't want to go, you don't have to. But trust me, once your senior year rolls around, you're going to be missing it all. I'm currently in the situation where I'm wishing that I went to more events during my other years of school, but I'm going to make sure I go to as many events as possible this year and participate as much as I can before I graduate. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I know some of these tips were a little generic, but honestly, these were the key things that helped me make it this far in school, and hopefully it can help you too. I'm sure I still have other school tips I can share, so if you want a part 2, let me know, and if you made it this far, comment what grade you're going to go into. Thank you again for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Peace out.